Sure, Dr. Johnny Turno. I'm at Molloy College. I am the Associate Dean and Professor at Molloy College. I'm also a former retired NYPD captain.
What do you think is the main problem with the NYPD today, and what led to the situation that we're currently in?
Well, it's CompStat, which stands for Compare Statistics. It's the leadership principles that are used by NYPD currently. NYPD has a style of leadership that's very top-down, so the management runs everything and requires police officers to write a certain number of summonses, make a certain number of arrests, write a certain number of stop and frisk reports, things of that nature. So it really comes from the top down. It's a leadership style, and CompStat is an engine that promotes that leadership style, giving power to the police commissioner through these centralized meetings. What CompStat is a centralized meeting where commanding officers of precincts are held accountable for the numbers in their precincts. So it's numbers of summonses, numbers of arrests, things of that nature that commanders have to make sure it looks good so they get promoted.
The Supreme Court a few years back ruled that police officers it's not actually their duty to protect people. How do you think the NYPD see their role in the community?
Well, the NYPD's role should be both to protect people from crime and to protect their constitutional rights. It should be both. Unfortunately, NYPD has become very crime control oriented, and they've failed to see the flip side, which is the due process side, the protecting of basic human rights. So they've become overly consumed with their crime control image. But it's very easy to stop crime. I mean, anyone could stop crime. A monkey could stop crime. All you have to do is tell people you're going to chop their hands off or something of that nature, and you won't have any crime. NYPD similarly has disrespected a lot of people's rights through their stop and frisk program and other types of things that really are becoming very questionable as to whether or not NYPD is operating under democratic policing principles. So we need to make sure that they're operating both under crime control and due process. I do think they see their mission now basically and unfortunately as solely crime control.
When you're with the NYPD, do you have any memories that stick out? What your best day and your worst day on the job was?
Oh, of course. Everyone has memories about best day and worst day, but things have certainly changed since I've been on. I retired back in 2004, and I think the management style has currently truly changed the practices and policies. A lot of the good things at NYPD include their training. I think their training is excellent, but I do think that the culture is the worst part of the police department, the way that they more or less kind of inculcate negative ideals and other sorts of things in them that aren't taught at the academy. It's very, more or less, a very, I don't know, sort of a thing that happens very regularly. It happens as part of their everyday duties, that type of thing. It doesn't happen as part of training. It's not formal, but rather it's the informal norms that take place that are really hurting them. So these informal norms that develop through the management system, those are the things that we need to look out for. And in my career, I've had very positive things with training. The negative things really have come from management, mostly.
What would you like to see happen through your work from Prop? What would you like to see come about through the NYPD? What changed?
I think the biggest change that we need is community partnerships. They need to start working with communities much more closely. Furthermore, I think that they need to have change in leadership, or at least leadership style. This doesn't mean that Commissioner Kelly can't change, but he's really been doing the same things over and over and over again. It's time that he change his style from a top-down style to allowing police officers to have more of a say in what's going on.
And lastly, what do you think people can do besides protesting and voting? What can they do to help change some of these policies?
Well, that's a good question. Taking part in the democratic process is certainly a part of that, but other than voting and listening and respecting things, I think being a part of grassroots movements is always something that they can do. They should also, there's things like CCRB where they can complain about police officers who aren't doing the right thing. They should get involved politically. I mean, I know you've said not to say that, but I do think that politically it is very important for them to get involved in the voting aspects, grassroots movements, get involved with their communities, and I think that will help. Ultimately, though, what the police do and how they do it It's important for people to make their say, to say what they want in terms of their community leaders, in terms of voting, of course, but also being educated about what is happening. Know what's going on rather than simply just take it for granted what they see. People like you and the media need to get out there and get the message out that the police department has been doing and is doing some questionable things that need to be looked at by a lot more people.
This man just assaulted me. Can you guys please take care of him? Just assaulted me. I have it on video. Guys, this guy just assaulted me. Can you please do something? Officer, can you stop that man? So you just called an undercover cop and you just hit me, sir.
To bury their child alone, you know? And we're all here fighting the same cause, and we're all gonna be together and support until we get what we want, which is justice.